Okay, we are going to get started with the super simple craft along kit here. We did a pretty simple one because I know that our time is kind of limited, but it ends up being a cute kind of a layered page with flowers, and we'll do a couple chalking techniques and help you get this all put together. So if you have never done a Quick Quotes page kit before, we always suggest Powder Puff chalking inks to ink the edges, and this one we suggest Montego Bay, Dandelion, and Deep Sea. If you bought the bundle, you actually got, I believe it's Summer Days or one of the yellows. Any of the yellows, any of the blues will work. You can use dark blue, light blue, turquoise. You can even add some teal in there if you want. But we always suggest a few inks there. But what came with your bundle will match it perfectly as well, or if you have something else in your stash you want to use. We always do the cutting diagrams first because we want to get that out of the way. This one looks a little bit tricky, but I'll walk you through that step by step. If you want to punch out your die cuts, you can. I have punched out most of mine, but there's some that I actually left in the package because, or not in the package, but in the background because I was going to show you. So you can either punch these out so that you can chalk edges and stuff, or I will show you, you can use a dauber and just color these a different color if you want to. Totally up to you. If you have yours all punched out, then you're good to go. So I am going to move this out of the way, and I am going to move in. And just so you know, if you did not get the, I think I mentioned before, if you did not get the Craft Along bundle, there are a few left on our website. If you go to online events, you'll see them there. Get my supplies here. These are some of the stencils. We have lots of stencils on our website now. I don't know if you know that. We just started doing that a few months ago. This is with our Powder Puff chalking ink and some of the stencils. We have dog stencils, flower stencils, nature, just designs, all kinds of stuff. So check those out. We have daubers and stencils now on our website. Okay, so we are going to do the cutting first, and we need to do this cutting diagram. So we'll find the royal blue piece of paper, and honestly, this is the only challenging part of the kit, and it is not even that hard. So we're going to make it through this. Okay, so I always put my diagram right next to me so I can see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut this 3 by 11.5. So I'm going to put my paper in. Actually, if you have any tabs that need trimmed off, go ahead and trim off the tabs of your papers. I'm going to put this in at 3 inches and trim. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch because it needs to be 3 by 11.5. Set that aside, and then we're going to do this 1 inch strip off the bottom. So you put that big piece of paper back in, and you do a 1 inch strip. And we'll set this aside for a minute because this one actually needs to be cut at 5.5 inches and one at 6 inches. So let's do 6 inches. And if I get going too fast, no worries at all. You can always come back and watch the video again. I just want to try and fit everything in if I can. This one is at 5.5. So you can see on the diagram, this one has a little like dove's tail on the end of it. So the one that is 6 inches, what I want you to do is, you don't have to crease it all the way in the middle, but put the 2 corners together. It's kind of hard because it's skinny, but put those 2 corners together. And then from about the corner, you cut into where the crease is. And that gives you a perfect little dove's tail there. So set those 2 aside, and then we'll do the 2, or the few more cuts that are on here. Okay, so we want to put it in horizontal. It needs to be the long way here. And we are going to cut it at 6 inches. So we're going to make this cut right here. So we'll cut it at 6 inches. Then we are going to turn it and do 3 3/4. So we already have the 6 inch. We're going to turn it, do the 3 3/4, and move this one down to 3 3/4. So you have 2 pieces that are 3 3/4, and this is just left over. So you can get rid of that. I know with a lot of our kits, we use a lot of the scraps and the negatives from the lasers. So we tell you a lot of times, don't throw anything away, but that piece is just a scrap. Okay, now we're making these 2 pieces. So we have it at 6 inches. And then we want to turn it and do 3 1/2. The other ones were 3 3/4. This one is 3 1/2. And set that aside. And maybe set it somewhere separate from the 3 3/4 because they're such similar sizes. So you have 2 at 3 3/4 and 1 at 3 1/2. Set those kind of separate. And then we need a 3 1/2 by 4. So what I'm going to do is just pull this one into 3 1/2. This is just a scrap. Get rid of that. And then turn it to 4 inches. And this is a scrap. This would make a nice little tag. You don't have to use it, but put those corners together, trim it. And there you have a perfect little tag to use for something else or somewhere else on the page if you'd like to. Okay, so the next cut that we're going to do is your anchor paper. And we're going to cut just above this relax here, because these are 3 separate pieces. So I'm going to, let's see, put this in and cut just above where that yellow is on that relax and enjoy piece. I'm going to turn it and put it right at the edge of the yellow there. Actually, I'm going to leave just a little bit of white like there is on this side. And trim. And you have these 2 pieces and this piece. And if you want to, you can trim this off too so that you trim it right at 4. And then it trims that white edge off there. Okay, so I think we have all the pieces. The only other cut you will need to make, and you may have already done this, is to trim off your background papers, to trim off the tabs at the bottom. And remember, as we go along with this, leave us a comment, say hi, let us know what your favorite chalking color, your Powder Puff ink color is. I always love to know what people like so that we know what to keep around. Some of the colors are retired, but if we know that you love them, put them in the comments and we will try and keep them around. Okay, I'm going to move my directions out of the way and move these in. And if you've received our new set of Powder Puff chalking inks already, I know some of you got in on the pre-order, which we still have some left from the partial shipment we got. So if you'd like to get some, they are on our website. I'm making sure that you can see all this here. But if you did get the new ones, let us know your favorite color in the new kit. I think mine is probably Dragonfly, which is really close to this color. I also love the Dandelion in there. Poppy is a really cool orangey red color. Actually, this is Poppy here. Love that color. Okay, so now we are going to just start layering. And what's great about this kit is you can kind of look at the pictures instead of going step by step. We always have thorough instructions, but you can look at the pictures and kind of line these up. We are going to start with page 1 and your 3-inch strip that you cut out. And we want it about 1/4 of an inch from the top. And you might want to use a little more glue than I'm using here, but I'm just making a little sample, so you do what you need to do. There is a little strip that you cut out of the blue that you saved. I think it's 5.5 inches, so you have the dove's tail one and then you have the 5.5 inches one. This one is going to go here, and as we go, you chalk things up as you please. I probably won't chalk everything right now because there is not a ton of time, but I'm going to get out a couple of colors here. This blue lotus is really pretty with this too. I'm going to use dragonfly. And I'm just going to chalk up some of these things. So if you want to just kind of lay things out and come back through later and chalk things up, you definitely can. Okay, and this one is going to go like not quite 1/4 of an inch up from the blue, and about 1 inch from the right side of the page here. And we're going to do the lettering last. So the next piece that's going to go on, and a lot of times I lay this all out. I'm going to use blue lotus for this one. I lay these all out, and then I go back through and I make sure that I have spacing right and then glue it down. So I'm going to start laying this out here. If you like to glue it down as you go, that's totally fine. And this one is about 1/4 of an inch, and then in line with the blue. And then our relax. And if that isn't quite, looks like we need to trim that down just a little bit. So if you want to do that, you go ahead with your trimmer. I'm just going to trim it real quick with my scissors. But it looks like this needs the white pieces trimmed off the edge. Didn't think it would matter too much, but so that it fits in there perfectly, it needs to have those trimmed off. Okay, so that goes right next to it and evenly spaced. And then out of your yellow die cut, you have a photo backer. I'm gonna grab dandelion. If you have dandelion, awesome. If not, any of the yellows or oranges would work. This is a really fun new yellow. It's kind of golden with a little bit of orange in there. Really brightens it up. That goes in the center. There is a, you know what? I did exactly what I told you not to. I put these all together. So you actually want, so you have 3 blue pieces of paper here. The one that's skinnier, that's going to be set aside for the other page. These 2 will go here. I know my spacing's not perfect, but you get yours where you want it, and then you can go ahead and glue it down. And then once you have the photos that you want in here, you want to make sure that you could glue this onto your photo and then trim the excess photo off. And these go onto here. This is also an extra piece here in the middle. You could turn into a tag. I use all the extra rectangles and squares for tags. This is just a simple way to have extra pieces. This one goes here. Once you get your picture in there, just make sure you don't glue those frames down until you have your picture. And these you can, in our instructions, we chalked up singly, but you can also, I wanted to show you, you can also turn them a completely different color if you want to. So I'm going to actually, let's see, I'm going to use this Blue Lotus, and I have my dauber here. We have these on our website in packs of 3s, and I love them. So if you want to make them a totally different color, you can use your dauber. And this makes it really easy to be able to get the entire thing. Because these little pieces, once they're in your popped out and in your hand, it's much harder to get an all over nice chalky look. You can go as light as you want, as dark as you want. I always kind of start out light, and then if I want to go over it, I can. And if you don't want these, you want to be real careful, but I'm not going to worry about it, and I am going to just move on to do the next color. And I will do yellow, because then this will just kind of make it a little bit of a green. This one has a little brush on the end of it, which I love too, because it gives a similar look, but kind of more of a chalky look, like a sponge look. So I'm mixing these because all these colors are still going to match. The yellows, the green, when it turns to green with the yellow and blue. So anyway, that's a little trick with our daubers. We have stencils on there as well that these daubers work with, our Powder Puff chalking inks. And I'm going to do one more color here. Where did my dragonfly go? Oh, here it is. And these daubers come in different colors as well. Just super easy to use. Okay. No, we're getting low on time here, so I'm going to punch these out now. I think they have just a really nice, soft, chalky look. And I'm going to set those to the side, and I'm going to layer up page 2 and get this all taken care of here. Get your full kit pulled together, and I will see here if I can get everything in before the end of the time limit. Thank you all for being here. I love being a part of the volume event, and we try to join in on it every time. Okay, so you have a 11.5 by 4, I think it is. It's going to go about 3/4 of an inch from the right side of the page. The anchor paper. You have your skinnier blue photo mat. You have your, I think it's about a 3.5 by 4 is going to go down here, and about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And then you do the same that we did here, just on the other page, and line these up. You had 2 of the blue turquoise pieces that are already pre-cut for you. Oh, you know what I did? I'm glad I didn't glue that down, because one of the turquoise goes here, one goes here, and one goes here. And get the spacing correct before you add it on there. We have our words. And this is just kind of a guide. So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing or what our directions say. You can make this your own for sure. You make it fit your pictures. Add the quotes. And then the largest flower is the one that goes on the left page. You can layer up these flowers however it is that you like. I would just make sure to chalk those, because those make them really stand out. I'm even going to use a little green blue. But you have these that you can layer up. We have brads to put in the middle. You can use a blue or a green on your leaves because it's going to end up looking green anyway. Those get tucked in behind wherever it works best for your page. Your blue. There's little yellow strips that go across here. And the rest is layering your flowers. This can either be just a scallop, you can make it blue, color it blue for waves if you're doing a beachy page. Your banner goes up top. And we're so close to done. Just layer these up. And if you have any questions at all in the comments, just let us know. I will answer them. Don't forget our sale that's going on all of our page kits in our page kit category, 15% off. You get a $40 grab bag with a $50 order. And if you want to sign up for our March event, make sure you do that because it's very limited seats. And we will see